Alright, the next gesture to avoid is...
Yes.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We have not been doing a studio episode for a while, but today we have a list video for you. It's basically a list of 8 gestures that you should not do whenever you're traveling in Asia because they're just offensive in one way or another.
And there are some things in Southeast Asian countries that if you take it out of context or you do it, if it's okay in the Western society, it's not okay in Southeast Asia. So we've compiled a list of 8 things, the most like offensive things you could do. So if you don't want to die, follow this list. So first one. So the thumbs up sign in Western society just means like good for you or like good job, A-okay. But in Thailand, this is a no-no.
Because it is actually a gesture that a lot of children or like little kids do. If they feel rebellious, then they'll say, this is actually surprising to me because when I was young, I remember that my sister and I used to get into a fight a lot.
Yeah.
And then when we do that, we're like, I hate you! That's what we do. So I don't know
the
if this is
negative
similar to
energy.
that.
Okay.
And then if you want to make up with your friend, you do this. Okay, now we're friends again.
If a kid kind of sticks out their tongue at you and then like,
Exactly.
yeah, so it's just kind of like that. Don't do it.
Alright, number 2 is curling your index finger to call somebody like, hey, come here. This is totally offensive. Yeah. Okay.
With that look.
If it's combined with that look, I don't even know what that means.
Actually, this is kind of rude in a lot of many Asian countries, but especially in the Philippines, it's seen as derogatory and rude. Pretty much, if you do this to another person, you'll see them as inferior. And I guess because they do this to dogs typically, I guess you're kind of treating them as like a low-level being human.
Low-level creature.
Even if you hate someone, you should never be that disrespectful.
Oh, correct.
Life lesson number 2. All right, so the next one is in Japan. When you're giving anyone something, either, you know, if it's a friend or your elders, you should never give it to them with just one hand. Because, you know, if you're giving a business card, especially in the business realm, like business card is always like this. Arigato.
Because when you do it with 2 hands, it shows that you're doing this gesture with sincerity.
Yeah.
And respect.
I feel like Japan is very heavy on the customs and the way they interact with one another, and it's like very polite.
Can you take a picture for me? That's a no.
I'll take it.
Alicia?
I'll take the picture from down here to emphasize the double chin.
Hey! Alright, so the next one, number 4, is do not give something with your left hand in Indonesia. Basically, if you like hand something over to another person with your left hand, it is also considered rude because, you know, left hand is used for something related to like toilet duties. Poop! That's what it's used for. So you don't want to hand it out to other people. Like, that's a no.
I'm right-handed, so I go to the toilet and do my toilet things with my right hand.
Do you? I don't know. I think it has something to do with like wet toilet.
Wet
Now
toilet?
We're going off on a tangent.
You mean the
here.
mini toilet that's on the side that just has like water?
Yeah, with water and like a bucket of water with the thing to like scoop the water
Yeah.
out. And so you do that with your
I
right
never
hand and then you
understood
clean
those
it with your
toilets.
left hand.
You know, the very first time I saw one of those mini toilets, I thought it was a sink. I was like, what do I do with this mini
It's
toilet?
on the floor.
I know! So much confusion.
Also over there, if you're lefty, then, you know, when they're young, their parents are trying to like teach them how to do things with their right hand instead. Because, I don't know, for some reason the lefty is not a good thing there.
So the next one isn't specific to just one particular Asian country. It's like the ones that typically follow the Buddhist religion, so like Thailand or Laos. So if you pat someone on the head in those regions, it's actually really rude because they believe, well, in the Buddhist belief, that's where your spirit is. And yeah, it's kind of taboo to do that.
There. I could see it as a sign to express affection to little kids.
Yeah, little kids.
You're like so cute.
But also when children are really little, the head is the most sensitive part and it's like
True.
the last thing that really develops. So you shouldn't even pat a child on the head anyway.
Alright, so the next one is do not shake your legs when you're in Japan. Or in front of me. I just don't like
Yeah,
it.
or in front of us. It just looks like you're uneducated. It just has that vibe.
Yeah.
Like your parents didn't teach you common courtesy and how to act around people, so you're like like usually you're just like this and then you're like
Yeah.
this, right?
It would
Yeah.
drive me crazy when I see
Yeah,
that.
but in Japan specifically, they have a name. It's called Bimbo Yusuri.
Which literally means poor shaking.
And it can also seriously hinder and damage your social and professional life if the recruiter or whatever sees you doing that, because like it's kind of signs of nervousness, right? And
Yeah.
then you kind of think like, oh, why is this person nervous? Do they have something to hide? It's downhill. Even for a girlfriend, do not shake your leg.
Like if you go on a first date and then you're like nervous. I know you're nervous, but then
Yeah.
if you're like,
Like for me, that is a red flag. If you shake
Is
your
it?
leg, yeah, I'm shaken out of there. So the next one is my people, the Vietnam, Vietnamese. No, I'm actually like half Vietnamese, but not really. Okay, anyway, so in Vietnam, you know, you do this, right? And it's like good luck, or
you mean in the US?
In the US.
In the US, yeah, kind of like,
Or,
oh,
I wish.
I hope it
I hope,
happens.
yeah.
Like, oh, like hoping for the best.
Yeah, so it has that type of meaning, and you know, children do this. But in Vietnam, the act of like intertwining your fingers actually is connected to the women's genitalia. So we won't go much more into that. In Vietnam, just don't wish anyone or hope anything with this gesture because they'll be like, confusion. I don't know what you want.
Actually, Indonesia also has something similar, which brings us to our next point. It's called the fig. Like at first when she told me, I'm like, what is the fig? So I know the gesture. To me, it is very offensive. Basically, you put your thumb in the middle of your index finger and your middle finger.
I feel like that's not a very common gesture that Western people do here, which is why I've never seen it.
And I'm surprised that it's not that common. You don't want to do it, okay?
You don't wanna do
When you did it, I was like, no. Don't do
I was
that.
like, do
don't
you
wanna
mean
that.
this?
No!
So don't put your thumbs in between your index finger and your middle finger, unless you want your hand chopped off.
Sometimes people also do it between their middle finger and their ring finger.
So yeah, that's it. Easy. So that is the list of gestures of what not to do in Asian countries.
So tell us what we have missed from our list here. I'm sure there are others like that are pretty specific to a certain country that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So feel free to share that in the comments below.
So that's all we have for today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you follow us on social media, OTGW Crew on Instagram and Facema Book. And I think that's all we have. So see you later.
Bye!
Heinous. Or do you Americans call it anus?
That's ANUS.
Yeah, but you don't like pronouncing the H.
H.